Venkat.
Hello, a pleasure talking to you.
Same here. We have a very important topic, which is actually how to put flexible IR platform into the wider context of a SOC. Obviously, flexible IR doesn't replace a SOC or is not your SIM, but it is an essential part in actually, making sure that the playbooks can be followed when necessary. Obviously, you would not put very routine things in the playbook, but you would put incidents by certain categories which you think is important. But you could, if you feel that your team benefits from having detailed instructions for everything, up to you. You can have maybe certain playbooks for routine work and certain things for specific incidents or by criticality. There's a bit of a discussion of saying, okay, now we have the playbooks, and how to make sure that people are following them or exercising them. We can have desktop exercises with either the team, the technical team, the incident management team itself, or with the broader community in, I would say, enterprise incident response, where probably legal, corporate communications, management is represented, or other parties, when the incident is larger and has a bigger impact. And nevertheless, you may say, well, okay, this is a bit desktop exercise. It's a little bit artificial, yeah. And we know it's important because, not going to have the legal team doing technical exercise every day. So it's quite natural that these desktop exercises are important. But when we come back to the security team itself or the incident management team, then obviously we want to make sure that they know very well the daily routine and also the exception handling. There may be multiple ways to do it, but obviously, ideally speaking, as a CISO, you have selected your incident management team in a proper way, essentially. Yeah. So obviously, there is a big difference between having a preventive team who is patching vulnerabilities, who is setting up the network in a proper way, who is checking maybe third parties and so on. This is a team which is focused on prevention. Yeah. And you need to be very organized and very disciplined to do that. But obviously, when you have a SOC or an incident management team or incident response team, or however you are organized, the ones you want to hire for that job is essentially someone who obviously is interested in incident response, but essentially deep inside has a bit of I may call it a hunter-killer instinct. He has to hunt for the bad guys because the bad guys are going to obfuscate, they're going to try to hide. And one, he detected the bad guy, he has to look what is he doing now. Maybe I found a trace, but that was a few days ago. Is he still inside my network, or what is he doing? So the hunting is a very important part. Or is he disguising his behavior behind something, and something which looks pretty normal actually is hiding malicious behavior. Yeah. On the other hand, he has to have a killer instinct. What can I do in the most efficient way to basically get rid of this bad guy, not just kick him out 1 minute and the next minute he comes in a different way. So I have to think very carefully and say, what is the fundamental way I can actually get him out. Yeah. So obviously you can be trained in many ways to develop that hunter-killer instinct. Some of us have that a bit more naturally. So it's important that when you organize your team, that you make sure that you either train or hire people who have that view of the world. Yeah. So hunter-killers, or at least come close to that if you can. Yeah. So that's an important part. The other one is the problem remains. How can I have the playbooks now. I have my team. How can I actually exercise and make sure it's really working on the real thing, a little bit beyond the desktop exercises. Yeah. And I think the one good way is, for example, you take your medium incidents. Yeah. We typically talk here about how do you handle the critical ones, because of course we want to make sure that when it's critical or the business impact is very large, that we're well organized to handle those. But nevertheless, there are very few of those. So hopefully as few as possible. Certainly not every week, I would say. So you may have to take the medium ones as a kind of reference point. So you have to make sure when you have a medium incident that you follow the procedure in a good way, and you if you are the CISO or if you are the SOC manager, that you review whether the process has been followed in a good way. You see the log in some sense of the operational response, and then you analyze it. Yeah? When you analyze it, you going to see a timeline and see, okay, we did this, and finally we contained the problem, or we found it's a false positive, yeah? So whatever, yeah? Also, when you do the analysis of the work, real work, yeah? Or real incident, then you're going to find out that, okay, look here, we did this and it took us 15 minutes to actually do this task. And then you have to ask yourself, well, maybe I should actually find a way to reduce the time. Maybe I have to add a bit of automation, or in some cases I have to change the process a bit, or I have to prepare that data ahead of time so that my incident management can be as quick as possible. So that brings us back that we are efficient in finding or containing the problem, but also, obviously a big part of that is the speed at which we are doing that. So if you want the quality of the work as much as the velocity of the work. And the speed is particularly important when you look back and you look at a particular certain set of incidents. You actually see that, when you are efficient, and even I would even more say, if you are quick, you can actually reduce your business impact. Yeah, you have been hit, and there will be a business impact. But if you're quick in the response, based on my personal experience, I think you can reduce to half or to 2/3 the business impact. Yeah, so exercising in a proper way, being faster, analyzing how much time it took and what you had to do to actually contain the incident, then, and improving that on a continuous basis, not once upon a time, but on a continuous basis, it's a bit driven by your analysis capabilities, it's a bit driven by your creativity. You will see a net decrease of the business impact of your incident. And that's where, in some sense, the analysis, the process you may change in the flexible IR platform play together and help you to reduce the business impact and be ready when a more serious incident is happening. So this is what you can do every day, and nobody and nothing prevents you from exercising. And it's a real thing. It's complementary to having the desktop exercises. Maybe that's where you start. And when you have a larger extended incident response team, including non-incident management team members, then of course you take the desktop exercises as a main thing. The desktop exercise is good to actually have two teams talk to each other. Yeah, am I able to call a lawyer at midnight on a Saturday because I need approval to have a certain purchase done, or I have to sign a contract with someone who is going to help me do maybe forensics or anything. Yeah, so I need support. I need to have it immediately. I need to make sure that we engage in a protocol between the incident team and maybe legal to do so, and this comes out naturally in the desktop exercises. So there's many facilitating controls and facilitating aspects which can be naturally discussed and naturally agreed. In the desktop exercise, you may also come to talk about things like, if this and this happen, what is our company response? When will we announce that we have been hacked, or that we might have been hacked? Having a bit of discussion about that ahead of time, or defining a few agreements, which is, in some sense, what is our company's attitude towards an incident? What do we agree before it happens, so that we are ready? Every case is different, but I think the fundamental values our company stands for, and what we are willing to do if a certain thing happens is something, if we agree at least on the general principle, will help us enormously in being faster, even though there will be obviously every time a discussion about what to do in this particular case. There is no doubt about that. I hope, Venkat, that this gives a bit of wider context why there's a bit wider picture, and especially I would say the emphasis on gaining speed by exercises, real exercises, desktop exercises, is essential to, at the end, reduce the most important part, which is the business impact. Yeah, hopefully that was helpful.
Absolutely makes sense, and some of the key points, right, which is very important, is playbooks are required. At the same time, you need to practice them. The way you practice them, the drills, and you said you get better and better, you get faster and faster, right? You practice 2 drills, you are better. You practice a few more drills, you are much better. And as you were mentioning, there are observations where you could reduce the recovery time or your response time by 50%. If you're able to respond fast, that's definitely going to make a big difference when under a major or any incident. Thank you.
Thank you.